Hello and welcome back to Teas New Jersey. My name is Alex and welcome to the matcha series. In this series I'm going to give you the basics on matcha, so I'm going to talk about what it is, where it came from, and what to look out for when you're buying matcha and like drinking matcha. There's going to be another video. I'm going to talk about the traditional way to make matcha, or a more traditional way to make matcha. I'm going to give you a less traditional way to make matcha, and I'm going to do a couple different ways to make it in that video. Then I'm going to talk about Chanoyu, which is the Japanese way of tea. So matcha, what is matcha? I have a couple different examples here that I will show you. I have a ceremonial grade matcha and an everyday matcha, and both of these are on Teas New Jersey. You can see them side by side here. So matcha is green tea powder, but it's not just green tea powder. There's different qualifications and production steps that have to be like taken in order to for the tea to be classified as matcha. So if you see green tea powder marketed like in the store or something, it's probably not matcha powder. There is green tea powder that companies will make with lower grade green tea, and they will grind that into powder, and that's green tea powder. The quality of tea to make that is not very good, so if you are staying away from certain types of teas, that would be a grade of tea to stay away from. Matcha powder is a lot more strict and regulated. Farmers who are producing matcha will shade their tea bushes for 15 and 20 days before the leaves are picked, and they will increase the shading like throughout those days in order to make a more dark environment. And what that does in the tea bushes, in the leaves, it increases the chlorophyll levels. The teas are freaking out. They want to get more chlorophyll, get more energy. They need to like grab more sunlight, so they're going to be upping the chlorophyll levels. The amino acids in the tea leaves then increase, and that is, the amino acids are what create that umami flavor in green tea, especially in Japanese green tea, and especially in matcha. So they're increasing the umami. That also increases the theanine, and we'll talk about that a little later. So they're shading the tea bushes for 15 to 20 days, and then they are the picking. So when they pick the leaves, they're picking the first like bud and first 4 leaves, 4 to 5. They want, like, bigger leaves are okay if they're tender. They want really tender leaves. So if the leaves are very tender but bigger and flatter, they're like prime for matcha too, because they can devein them. So they devein all the leaves in order to get like the leaf particles just by themselves, so that they can easily grind those down. And there's a couple of different ways to do this, and this is also a factor in deciding the grade of the tea. So there's ceremonial grade matcha, there's standard grade matcha, and there's cooking grade matcha. The lattes that people get like at different cafes is usually culinary grade matcha. If people are cooking, or if companies are cooking with like matcha and using it for products, it's usually cooking grade matcha. They also, if you're getting like a latte and stuff like that, they are mixing in like vanilla flavor and sweeteners in there too. So you're not getting pure matcha. Even if you get a latte, it's going to be that matcha powder mixed with the vanilla, the sweetener, and then the milk. Ceremonial grade matcha makes really good matcha lattes, and you don't need any sweeteners, and you get like the most amount of health benefits too from that. So cooking grade, standard grade, ceremonial grade. The cooking grade and the standard grade are ground like by machines, so they're using machines to kind of grind down the leaves, and they're creating a fine powder, as you saw. The ceremonial grade matcha, so they'll take the leaves, the leaf flakes, which is called tencha, and you can make tea with that too. It has a very umami strong flavor. So they'll take those little leaf particles and they will put them through like stone mills. They will feed these stone mills the tencha leaves, and it'll grind down into that powder, into the ceremonial powder. And they do this very slowly so that the friction doesn't create too much heat and like oxidize the the powder, and so it takes a long time. So after all that production, you have your matcha. Every matcha tastes different. Some matchas have like very, very bright notes. Some have very, very like darker notes, like more grassy notes. And the higher grade matchas have more bright notes, and they don't get very bitter at all, and they tend to be a little bit more sweeter. So if you're making something like a matcha latte, a ceremonial grade matcha will produce a better tasting latte. I've taste tested two side-by-sides of like a standard grade matcha and a ceremonial grade matcha, and I've turned them into lattes, and the ceremonial grade definitely was sweeter, whereas the standard grades tend to be more grassy. Why drink matcha? So everyone knows like the great health benefits of tea in general. There's a lot of different compounds and minerals in tea that are very, very good for the body. Antioxidants. A lot of people don't get enough antioxidants in their diet. Tea is a great way to get that boost. Matcha is an even better way to get that boost because since it's powder, you're not steeping the leaves, you are consuming the leaves. So you put the matcha in, you mix it with water, and you drink it. You're getting like 100% of the health benefits because you're actually consuming it, your body's digesting the leaves. There's a significantly more amount of antioxidants than just if you steep green tea. There's vitamins in it. C and B are big in tea. Theanine is a really big amino acid in tea. Theanine is actually one of the compounds that Buddhist monks were attracted to when they started drinking tea in Japan. There's theanine and caffeine obviously perks everybody up. Since you consume the leaves of the matcha tea, there's more caffeine in matcha than in just like regular green tea. Theanine is also good it increases your GABA levels, it increases your dopamine levels, it is very calming, and it stimulates alpha brainwave activity. This was very important for Buddhist monks because they were meditating and they needed to get into a relaxed state and also stay in that relaxed state without falling asleep. So theanine and caffeine work great in the mind for reducing stress, for meditation, for just feeling at peace, improving like thinking, and also improving your immune system. So this is a very, very powerful beverage. It is one of my favorite types of teas. There are a couple different tools here that can be used to make matcha, and I'm going to be going into those in the other videos. And there's a whole art of tea surrounded around matcha and preparing matcha and serving matcha, which was called Chanoyu, and it's still practiced in the world today. In Japan, there are different like tea ceremony establishments around like the US too, and I'm going to be going into the history about that, so look out for those videos. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoy this matcha series.